here, and today's topic is about consistency. For the first maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, we are going to be just one-on-one chatting. I don't really look at chat a lot, by the way, so when I do this and when I do regular streaming. And then the last 20 minutes is for you guys. So if you guys have any questions for Para or even for myself, feel free to ask them. You could even do it early on. Just tag me in it so I can see it. So to get started, Para, please tell everyone who you are.
All right. Hello, nice to meet you, everyone. I am ParadigmShiftXIII. I am a variety streamer who is basically my whole identity is that I am a shit. Why did I? Blah! I can word.
It's all right. It's all right. We got time. We got time.
I am a mad ripper doctor that basically got kicked from the corp due to reasons. And now I basically run a shady clinic in some backstreet alley to make ends meet, with a bit of streaming on the side.
Para sounds like a straight up just anime villain.
Am I? I mean, it does sound like a good setup for one, or maybe an anti-hero of sorts.
That's true. You know what? Yeah, anti-hero, a lot better than a villain. I don't know if you said in your introduction there, how long have you been streaming for?
I would say I've been streaming for about. I can't give an exact month. I do know when I first started streaming, which was March 31st. So I'd say that was about 7 months? 8 months?
Very close to the 1 year mark. You have any plans for the 1 year anniversary?
Indeed. I'm actually planning on. I am working on getting a live 2D model made, and hopefully I will debut that on my anniversary. As well as probably have like a big event with friends, like a big ass collab with all of my buddies.
Well, if you ever need anybody, I'm here. Just putting that out there. I'd love to
I
celebrate.
I will keep that in mind.
So going back to your whole streaming, um, I don't even know if you remember. Do you remember the first game you have ever streamed?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. On my first stream, it basically was like an hour or so of just chatting,
28
followed by
stab
an hour
wounds.
or so of karaoke, which was then led, which was then followed by a couple hours of whatever game that out of four games that my chat chose. And the game that they ended up choosing was Fallout New Vegas, which is one of my favorite games ever.
So you went all out.
Yeah,
Usually people are just like, "Oh, I played Minecraft or I did a couple rounds in League." No, part I got multiple. And you did it
mm-hmm.
a bit of karaoke. That's really bold as a first opener stream, isn't it?
Yeah, people like my singing.
Have you
I have a pretty decent singing voice.
have you ever done a karaoke stream after that?
Yep, I've done it as rewards, like milestones, like rewards for like milestones.
Oh my God, I could never. I know I've never done the whole karaoke thing. I feel like it takes balls. I mean, unless you're a really good singer. I
I mean,
I
I
I have stage fright.
I mean, I like to think I'm pretty decent, but then again, 3 years in high school choir tends to do that to you.
A choir kid. Okay.
Yee.
Look at you. Um, Personal question. Why did you choose to be a VTuber versus an IRL streamer?
Honestly, because of the community. I absolutely fell in love with the VTuber community. And I basically existed as a fan basically as like a fan for like a year before deciding to take the plunge. And then, gee, I knew that, this seems fun, and there's a lot of nice people here, a lot of good people. Might as well give this a shot. And I've been enjoying my time ever since.
Did you do any like pre-research of like because you said community? I never even thought of like that answer. I never a lot of the VTubers I meet, there's the whole like, well, I always wanted to be an anime character come to life. But I think you're the first one that I've ever heard that said community.
Yeah. Also not gonna lie, it makes a pretty damn good excuse to make your own waifu. Not gonna lie.
Wait, someone has made you their waifu? Oh no,
No,
you're
I mean
building.
as in you make your own. Like you can be like as your VTuber, you can basically become your own OC.
Oh, very true, very true. Before we get into the questions, I gotta ask, what is the meaning of your name and what's the lore behind it?
Honestly, there's not really any lore behind it. It was just my gamer tag for the longest time.
How long are we talking?
Years actually, because the name Paradigm Shift 13 is a reference to Final Fantasy 13, where there was a mechanic in there called Paradigm Shift, which I actually really enjoyed a lot, which basically allows you to switch between switch the jobs of your characters on the fly depending on whatever situation happened to pop up during combat, which I enjoyed a lot.
You said you're changing your model on your first year, right? Do you plan on changing your name or are you sticking with it? Like, I don't know how deep of a rebranding you're going into.
I might drop the 13, although I'm not sure. And while I say I'm making a switch to a model, I'm still keeping the basic design.
Of
I
course. Oh,
like, for instance, that PNG I sent you, that's basically the reference for my live 2D.
I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna speak for everyone here. We're all very excited to see it. It's always a nice little, from either side. It's always nice to see a 3D go 2D and then a 2D go 3D. So I'm very excited to see how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah. Although pla- plans for the future are after the live 2D, I do plan on getting another 3D model eventually sometime in the future because I do occasionally do VR chat streams as well.
You know what? I think that's a whole other topic I would love to jump into because there's so many, a lot of VTubers like to dip their toes into VR chat, and I don't have any experience in VR chat, and I would love to kind of get that started. Maybe have you back on the show and talk about that. What I mean, not to get too off topic, but really, what do you
hmm
do in VR chat as someone who doesn't know what to do in VR chat?
As well, for me personally, when I was getting into VR chat, I had a friend of mine that was basically there to help introduce me to people and take me around and see all this stuff. So, in my opinion, if you want to get into VRC, find a friend who has used VRC for a while and get them to like show you around and stuff.
So
That's
have
my
have
recommendation.
have a tour guide, pretty much. That's smart.
Exactly.
All right.
And stare at mirrors because yes, that is a lot of what you do in VRC. Just standing with your friends, hanging out in front of mirrors.
I know that much because I know I do it a lot as well.
Yeah.
All right, so going back on topic, today's topic is consistency, and Para is probably out of all of the VTubers I have networked with, Para is got to be the most consistent VTuber I've ever met. I think you stream like every other day when I'm online or when I'm finished a stream. I'm like, oh, Para's online, or like I think. Well,
Hmm.
actually, I think you stream during the day because I think I see you during the day. But out of, the little like tab, the little like bar on the left side of Twitch, and you can see who you follow and who's live, 90% of the time, Para's up there. So the first
Really?
you stream a lot.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, true.
So the first question, what does your streaming schedule look like?
Well, my usual streaming schedule is I stream from Sunday through Thursdays, like Sundays through Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time. What I'm trying to think, is that 3 hours behind me, I believe?
I'm assuming you're EST?
Yes, you know what? Of course, because we actually talked about it when we set up the podcast. You're right, you're right, you're right.
Yee.
How do you stay motivated to be consistent? Because somebody who is streaming so much, when I first started, I've been a VTuber for 5 months, I'd like to say, and I did like I think this is common among other VTubers, especially our streamers in general when they first start out. I streamed like 6 days and like 6 days a week. And then I think like 4 months in, I just got burnt out. So
Hmm.
I gotta ask you, how do you stay motivated to be so consistent?
How do I stay motivated to be so consistent?
Mm-hmm.
I Well, I would say because I enjoy it, but then again, if you do something so much, you start to not. But so far, I haven't had that experience yet. I haven't experienced any form of burnout since I've started, and I think it's more so, how do I say this? It's
It's like the whole
because
quote of
because
like do what you love and it'll feel like you've never worked a day in your life kind of situation.
eggs exactly. Yeah. Also, I'm for the most part, I would say I give off a pretty chill vibe depending on what game I'm streaming. Then again, if I'm playing something like say Bloodborne, Dark Souls, DBD, then I'm a bit more into it. But then again, I'm also the kind of person that will kind of match like the kind of person like if you stick me with another person, I usually tend to match their energy levels. So if they're chill, I'm chill. If they're hype, I'm hype.
Mm-hmm. When you first started streaming, have you always been this consistent?
There's probably like one or two times where I've missed where I haven't been consistent. Or I've still streamed, but it was either shorter or it was late. And that's only happened like two or three times. One, because I was feeling sick, and two, because I actually was playing a game with friends and lost track of time. But that's only happened once or twice in like 7 to 8 months. So I'd say that's a pretty good track record.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got like perfect attendance when it comes to streaming.
Hmm.
Where do you find the time to be so consistent? I mean, like we got work, school, any of those that interfere with your streaming time?
Nope, because I am unemployed.
I saw that in like neon sign above you when you said that. No school?
No school either.
Just got an open schedule. How long do your streams usually go for?
They usually go for 3 hours, although that's mostly because of my current living situation.
Hmm.
I would probably go for a little bit longer if I had my own place.
Have you ever done a 12-hour stream or it's just not possible at all?
Given my current situation, a 12-hour stream is not possible. Though I would like to try one of these days, but whenever I can move out of my current predicament,
Hmm.
then yeah.
Have you ever like I forgot the question I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask something on the side of this, but now you know what? It'll come back to me. I'll eventually get to it. The next question is, have you ever been on a hiatus and bounced back to streaming consistently?
I can't say I've ever been on hiatus.
You've never taken a break in like your 7, 8 months.
Nope.
What? Not even for holidays, or if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to go out to dinner?" Or like, you're just like, "Oh, sorry guys, I gotta cancel stream." That's never happened.
I mean, if I ever did get invited to somewhere, I would definitely cancel. But my family understand. Like I told my family knows I stream, so they usually invite me to places during like Fridays or Saturdays. But if I ever did get asked to go during like the weekday where my stream is, I would usually cancel stream in advance. Or sometimes they would take me out, but I would ask if they could take me home in time for stream.
And I actually want to dip into a little bit of you brought up family, and this is kind of like a I've only asked a couple people this, and I've been given kind of the same answers. You said that your family knows that you stream. This is off the topic of consistency. I'm just curious
Of
on your
course,
end. And
no worries.
do are they understanding that you stream? Because our parents specifically, they're kind of if you tell them that you stream, especially if you say you want to do it for a living and not as like a hobby, they're kind of like, why? Like, like you're wasting your time kind of thing. Like, how understanding are your parents or your family towards it?
I think my family is like, specifically my mom and my dad are kind of confused by it.
Hmm.
Like they don't understand it very well.
Do they
But
do they accept it?
they accept it, but they don't understand it.
Have you ever like showed off any accomplishments to them when it came to streaming?
I showed off my new character design to them and they thought it looked pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yee.
Uh, Next question here. Do you choose specific days to stream consistently on? Why or why not?
Um, well, I would say Sunday through Thursday is are days I choose to be pretty consistent. Mostly because back then, okay, earlier during streaming, I will admit I used to go from Mondays through Fridays. However, there was a bit that the current at the house where I would stay at would take us out to go do stuff around town or around areas. And these would usually either be held on Friday or Saturday. And sometimes these would be planned, sometimes these would be brought up out of nowhere, out of the fucking blue.
Is there?
So,
Oh,
in
sorry.
order to, sorry, continue.
No, no, no. I'm the one who interrupted you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, you're good. Um, so in order to get around that, I switched to streaming from Sundays to Thursdays instead, which leaves open Fridays and Saturdays for any other events that may be planned in the future, just to keep things more consistent.
Yeah. I think consistency is always important because it's nice. It's kind of like having your favorite TV show, for example, like Game of Thrones, right? And then you go on HBO and you're like, I've never watched Game of Thrones. I don't know the actual schedule, guys, so don't kill me. Usually, let's say like it comes on at 8 p.m., right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
guilty for this. And then so when you're telling like your viewers, oh, I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow, like as you said, like I think you said Sunday to Thursday at like 8 p.m. or something, and
Yeah.
everybody knows like what time to expect you. They know how to kind of like shift their schedule around to like attend, especially if you're one of their favorite VTubers. So if you kind of just like, let's say like Game of Thrones, just one day it played at like 7 p.m. and then people are like, "What the fuck? I just missed the whole show." So I think it's always nice, especially to be same days, same time, So props to you for that because I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna stream this day, this day, this day, and then I end up being like half an hour late. Do you have any advice for me?
Admittedly, I'm actually going to be breaking that consistency tomorrow by streaming way earlier than usual.
You got plans tomorrow?
Yes, I do actually.
I don't know if I should pry. Maybe I shouldn't pry, but unless you want to.
All I will say is it's a VR chat thing.
Oh, okay. Are you doing a little bit of a collab tomorrow?
Well, it's not necessarily a VR chat well, it is a collab, but I'm not doing VR chat. All I will say is there is an event planned on VR chat that it's like a party that I'm
Hmm.
planning on going to.
Okay, okay.
So I'm pushing stream ahead of time so I can make it in time.
All right. Everyone keep out for that. Keep an eye out on that for sure. Going back to the choosing days to stream, did you have to do like a trial or error? Because it sounds like you chose your days based on what works for you. But did you ever go through like a trial and error of like, oh, like Tuesdays are kind of slow, or oh, Friday nights are like there's a lot of people, and like have you ever gone through that or thought about that?
Admittedly, it took a while before I settled from on Sunday to Thursdays at 6 to 9, but occasion I used to stream from what was it? 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 sometime. Like back during the earlier days, like during the first days of streaming. But I ended up changing it for a couple of reasons. One, there's a streamer that I mod for that I like to be there for. So as a rule, I tend to not stream when she is live, and also to not key and I can word right.
Don't
Give me
worry,
a
don't
second.
worry. No, no, don't worry, don't worry. Also, thank you guys for being here. And also, where are we? 35 minutes into the podcast. So if you guys want to start thinking about some questions at the end to ask either Para or myself, but hopefully more so Para, and any questions doesn't even have to be about consistency or anything. It could be about VTubing, streaming in general, if you guys had any questions. So keep those at the back of your mind, and we will open up questions later on.
Mm.
Para.
And the other reason being that it just fits into my current schedule for to basically, what's the right word?
Mm,
Work around the schedule of everyone else
mm-hmm.
that I currently live with here.
That's true. Yeah. You mentioned the home situation, so that's important too as well.
Hmm.
So for someone that is so consistent at streaming, and this is not even for VTubers, for streamers in general, we all have that. Well, at least I know I do. There's always that small anxiety you get before you press the go live button, and especially someone who streams as much as you. Do you get that often, or is it something you just become kind of numb to?
The only time I've ever felt that anxiety was when I was hitting the live button during my first stream. After that, it's kind of just died. Like I don't really feel anxious going live anymore.
Got rid of that stage fright completely.
Yep. I don't really have straight stage fright that much.
Hmm. Do you ever have, like you say you're on a schedule, right? And everybody, especially your viewers, they expect you at a certain time, a certain date. How have you dealt with situations like tech issues, or you're just, you're not feeling it, or you're down with a cold or anything like that? How do you like kind of go through the motions of that?
Usually, I haven't really had very many tech issues. And well, I've had some, but in those cases, I usually just power through it. Like, for instance, oh, Oh no, this was remembering this. There was a collab that I had where I was playing Tekken 7 with another friend of mine, and I accidentally deleted the gaming scene. It was just gone. There was no screen, no thing, no capture, no nothing. I had to completely rebuild it. I had to completely rebuild it along with the overlays.
Oh my god.
So,
How long did
yeah.
that take?
Well, I didn't really completely rebuild it, so it was mostly just game capture, me and my friend's PNG. That was it was very minimalistic, but I fixed it the next day.
You fixed it the next day, so you didn't go through with that specific stream. You just kind of, you just like have something on the fly.
No, we kept going.
Oh,
We
okay.
just but like the whole overlay was gone. It was just the screen, me and my friend's PNG there. Like
For
no fancy overlays, no notifications, no chat on screen, just, you know, simple.
I like that. I like that. And I feel like that is something especially new or maybe upcoming streamers like pre-debut VTubers would go through. And like so I gotta ask, something like that, a hiccup like that, right? You just got rid of the overlays completely, you kept it simple, and you just kept the stream going. So I feel like if somebody was new to streaming and they set up their overlays, they checked it like a day in advance or even like 2 hours in advance before they go live. What is your advice to streamers that are just like everything goes to shit, right? And they're just kind of like they're panicking at that point, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't go live without my overlays. I can't go live if I don't have my alert box set up." Is your
Honestly,
mm-hmm.
honestly, there is this one saying, like ever since my days in the VTuber, there is this one saying that I have always lived by. It ain't VTuber if it ain't scuff.
I like that.
So, as VTubers, there's always going to be at least a little bit of scuffage during your day. Like there's no like during your time as a VTuber. There's no avoiding it. So, honestly, just do your best with what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it hold you back too much. Just try and power through it cuz everyone else goes through the exact same shit regardless of whether you're a little streamer or even at the very top. Everyone deals with scuff.
No, that's good. So just like Para's advice is just push through it. Just get your content out there. It doesn't even have to look fancy. And I really thought about that as well when I first started streaming. I was like, VTubers always have the overlay. They got like the little box and they got like the chat on the side. And I was like, I don't, you know what? Overlays is a whole other topic. But if I were ever in that situation and my overlays just didn't work or any of that, I would be like, for me personally, I think I would have canceled stream. But
Mm.
and then I was like, you know what? Part of the device is actually good. As long as you're live and you just push out your content, I think that's all that matters. Just being live and being there.
Yee.
At the end of the day, I mean, people are not there for your overlays, for your alert boxes, for your cool follower gift that pops up. People are
No.
there for you as a VTuber.
Exactly.
Um, I don't know if I asked this question. I feel like we covered this because I kind of like went on a tangent. But the next question is, does your consistent streaming habit affect your personal life?
Not really. Cause in regards to like a social life, being completely honest, I don't didn't really have one. Outside like the only social life I had existed within this community. So being a streamer just coincides alongside that.
Do you have any advice for those that do have like a crazy hectic schedule? Like okay, I'll put myself as an example. I work a 9 to 5 and I like to stream at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's a lot. Like streaming, people don't know it's not just going in front of a camera and entertaining people, basically. There's so much more because not only are you live, like specifically you, Para, there's also like the background stuff, like I don't know, I'm
The
trying to think.
back like the background stuff, like networking, getting your name
Mm-hmm.
out there, working the social medias, invest like working on shit, like doing all this other stuff.
Oh God, the social medias. That is, specifically, the social
So
medias is what gets me.
yes, yeah, I will admit I am also not the best when it comes to working Twitter. Like mostly for Twitter, it's usually just me like replying to people. I don't really put out like make any Twitter content outside of just like, well, obviously, like I said, replying to people and announcing that I am live. And occasionally jumping on whatever community meme seems to be popping around.
You know, it's funny that we talk about social media, okay? Because I was on Twitter earlier. Oh, you know what? Actually, whenever I'm on Twitter, okay, and there's like this long string of just like so many of these anime pictures, and I'm like, who keeps retweeting this stuff on my timeline? It's all Para. Para goes,
What can I say? I like my art. I like my waifus and I like my art. What can I say?
it's like he doesn't just like retweet. No, he goes on like a whole thread of retweets. And I'm like, you know what? When I start seeing these pictures popping up on my Twitter, I'm like, it's Para. And then I look up, it's Para. Always. I know. I know. I just know it.
Do you dislike it though?
No, I mean, who doesn't want some cute anime girls on our Twitter timeline, right?
Exactly.
As Toko said, waifu for laifu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are on the last question. So, start, typing out your questions. Anybody in chat, if you have any questions for Para or for myself, it doesn't have to be about consistency or any, it could be about life. It doesn't even have to be about streaming, but it would be nice if it was a streaming question. So, Para, the final question of the day, and I ask all my guests this, and I say all because I've only had two, but what is your number one tip to new and upcoming VTubers?
Well, I think we might have discussed that earlier. Or honestly, well, we've discussed that earlier, but honestly, for new and upcoming VTubers, the one thing that I was definitely warned about the most when getting into VTubing was after your debut, do not expect those numbers to stay like that. After a while, they are going to drop off significantly. So don't be so but the ones that do stick around are the ones who what's the word? I don't want to make it sound like too mean or I guess I don't know, like too cynical, but like the ones that do stick around are the ones that really enjoy your stuff, you know? So like don't get too yeah, those who stick around are the ones who are exactly ones who are curious about your growth and enjoys your content legitimately. The other like the numbers are usually that high because they're there for the party, they're there for the event, they're there for the debut. After that, most of them are gone. So honestly, don't be too discouraged if after your debut your numbers aren't as high as they were at first. That's how it is for every single VTuber before and after. No matter how big, no matter how small, that's how it's always started. Unless, well, yeah, like unless they just sort of like started streaming without the debut, but we're not getting into that.
Have you gone into like have you done VTuber debut?
I did do a debut.
How did that go?
How did that go? I believe it went really well actually. It was well, like I said, I started with a bit of just chatting, then a bit of karaoke, then a bit of Fallout New Vegas.
Mm, okay.
Eh, and and with they helped me get a second monitor. So, cool stuff.
Really? Did you have like a donation goal for your when you did your debut?
Yes, I did.
That's
And they helped
awesome.
and the goal was for a second monitor, which was reached. And it's having a second monitor is really help has really helped. It's made stuff a lot more simple and a lot more easier and a lot more efficient as well.
I completely agree. As a streamer, it is hard if you are on a single monitor. I know Streamlabs actually has this thing for streamers who are on a single monitor. I haven't used it because, I mean, in this day and age, I feel like a lot of people don't have single monitors unless you're streaming from a laptop or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys are thinking of streaming, not even as a VTuber, just streaming in general, a second monitor is an actual lifeline that you will
Yeah.
need. Well, not need, but
Yeah.
it just makes your life so much more easier.
Yeah. I was a single monitor streamer for like the first 2 to 3 months of streaming. So yeah, I feel that.
It's tough, man. You were talking about how the numbers, right?
Yeah.
When you do your debut, and from your debut, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Do you remember anybody who's actually stuck around from your debut? You can shout them out if you want.
Let's see.
Yeah, don't hold this against Para. I totally put him on the spot.
Who was I remember who was there at the start. I remember Patty if you're still here.
The day ones.
Yep, Patty was still here.
Don't worry. I honestly I'm bad with names. The day
Yeah.
ones for sure.
Yeah, the day ones. A lot of the day ones are usually are a lot of my usual day ones. I don't think you were Rose, unfortunately. Yeah,
It doesn't matter. I mean, like,
that's fine. If that you didn't have to be there. Well, that sounds wrong.
I mean,
That makes it sound like I'm ungrateful.
I think we all meet our regulars later on, anyways. I mean, I didn't meet any of my regulars on my first stream, so no shame.
Okay, Patty, I know for a fact was one of the first there.
Gotta shout out the loyal viewers.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Patty.
I know you use only Twitter, I believe. Have you ever thought of using something like TikTok or Instagram to further your brand? Or actually, do you have a YouTube channel? I don't think I actually checked.
I don't have an official YouTube channel because I don't really have any content for YouTube, although I might think about starting to do that at some time after my first anniversary.
You just say you don't have any content for your YouTube. You make content like nearly
For
every
tw-
day.
for Twitch, but I mean I suppose I could upload my clips to YouTube, but
Yeah, do like a little like
well,
clip compilation or something.
yeah. Rose, what kind of content would I do for TikTok? Oh, suppose I could do MMDs, I guess.
Yeah, if you can do that, that
But
would be huge
but
on TikTok.
yeah, but I need to get better with learning how to do MMDs.
But you know what? You probably know way more than I do.
Fair.
You know what? That too. You
Do
know what?
content for Facebook. Psycon, no. I quit Facebook long ago. I'm not going back.
Is Facebook streaming still a thing?
I don't know. I've left Facebook and haven't gone back.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Well, I just don't really. I don't really use. It took a while for me to like when I first started getting into the VTuber community. I didn't really use social media that much. Like it took me a while before I actually made a Twitter account.
Oh. Have you noticed any growth from having a Twitter account? Like, what are like the benefits you got from opening a Twitter account as a streamer?
From opening a Twitter account as a streamer, I would definitely say I've gotten my name out there quite a bit more. Like with, like interacting with the community and such.
I agree. I honestly I wasn't going to make a Twitter, but I was like, Twitter is a good place to meet some new faces. We have a question here from Rose. What unique feature about your character is similar IRL? That's a good question.
Ah, I see that. Well, one little moment here. If I can move my model real fast. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it? Oh, here it is. One second. I'm looking at at the stream
No,
here.
no worries,
If
no
you
worries.
notice, my left hand is missing.
If this gets dark, Para, I swear.
No, I didn't. No, it didn't get cut off. I was just never born with it.
You're kidding.
Yeah. I have a birth defect where my left hand never fully finished developing, and honestly, I've never really let it bother me that much. Like, I'm fairly chill about it. I would say, like, I'm not very sensitive about it at all. I crack jokes about it every now and again. So, I'm not too upset about it. No worries.
Wait, okay, hold on. Yeah, just like Rose said in chat, you play with one hand this whole time. You know,
Correct.
when I was my mind is blown. Like I don't know what to say. I've never noticed that. I learned something new about Para. Yeah, explains their level of chill and skill. To be honest, Para, I'm very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? That's actually a really cool touch that you implemented that into your model as well.
Yeah. If you notice even if you notice at the PNG I sent you, the one with the new design, it still has that missing left hand.
I don't think I looked down there. I'm gonna have to look because I did like a bust up only for like the promotional banner.
Fair enough. Actually, you know what? I think I can pull it up here because I actually have it in my OBS in the thing real fast.
Oh,
Unlock and boink. There's this
mm-hmm. That's what I saw.
and then
Oh my god, my
there it
mind
is.
blown. Blown. How did I not see that? Para sent me the same exact picture because I'm doing the promotional banner. So I was like, Para, send me your finest 2D image. I I didn't even notice.
Hmm.
But you know what? Okay, I don't know if this is too personal to ask, but
Go for it. I'm an open book.
have you ever used the hand thing as like a niche to like separate yourself from other VTubers? Like I don't know how much you talk about it, or it seems like your
I've
viewers know about it.
Yeah. I would say it's definitely, let's see. I haven't really I don't really make it like what's the thing? I don't really like mention it like every other stream, but like if there's certain friends of mine and certain people I do collaborate with that do know about it, so sometimes I have to explain it for context. But I don't really I don't really like make a habit of explaining it, but I'm not uncomfortable about explaining it at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I no, that's good. That's good that you you don't shy away from it, for one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I learned something new about you.
Yee.
Rose is threatening to reveal all of your secrets. I think
Yeah, that's just Rose being Rose.
we gotta know all the secrets, Rose. Share them all. Yeah, this
Not
is,
all of them.
as Rose says, this is a very special part. I didn't know that. That's I don't even know if I should say it's a cool little niche, but it is a niche in a way.
True. I would say that there aren't very many well, admittedly, there aren't very many VTubers with missing limbs now, are there?
If you put it like that, yes, I agree. See, it seems like the TikTok idea is very popular. Maybe you should actually start looking into.
Perhaps.
Personally, all I do on my own TikTok, I just put clips. I've kind of like I haven't put any love into it, just like my YouTube. But it's social media is so important because it's like a way to grow as a streamer when you're offline on Twitch. Your other social media, like your social media in general, does the work for you.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm kind of like, I really need to put some time into like YouTube. And TikTok has actually been very surprising because I've gotten, I'd say like roughly like 5 to 6 new followers who will just come in and they'll be like, "Hey, I found you on your TikTok." So TikTok is a very good idea, especially for VTubers. There's like this whole community for VTubers on TikTok. So I highly suggest trying it out, even though I've been gone from my TikTok for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But
That is the question. Do I do it? Do I embrace my inner Zoomer?
are you familiar with TikTok?
Uh, I I do have an account and I do vaguely and I have used it every once in a while, but it's not something I use regularly,
I use it every
if that
day.
makes sense.
I gotta use TikTok like all of the time. Okay,
Fair enough.
I'm confused. I went live. Oh no, you know what? I got confused with the time. OBS telling me it's been an hour, but it hasn't because I went live 10 minutes before. So we are in the last 10-minute stretch, guys. If you have any more questions for Para, please feel free to ask. Do you?
I think
Oh, sorry. Did I miss a question?
I think you tried to ask me a couple of questions before going live, but did you want to ask me any of those now?
What were the questions I had? I think the only other question I had was the name thing because I was curious about where your name came from. But
Ah,
I got like a list of questions I could ask. Like I could keep going. Like we could do the podcast for 2 hours, just me asking you a bunch of questions.
and I would be down to answer all of them.
So you say, so like Twitter is the kind of like the only social media you use, right? Do you have any rules for Twitter? Like I gotta post like once a day, or I gotta retweet this many amount of tweets or anything, or I'm gonna go interact with this many tweets. Like, do you have any rules for? I don't know how much you use it to grow, or like how much interaction you do on Twitter, but
Let's see. The only rule that I set myself for on my main Twitter is no nudity. That's for the other account. What?
hey, how come I don't know about this account? Hold on. That's the only rule you got? It's gotta be safe
That's
for work?
I mean, all I said was no nudity,
And we keep it at that.
and we keep it at that.
Jose is asking a very trolly question. If you do want to answer, Jose asks, "Where do babies come from?"
Google it.
Don't Google it, especially if you're underage. Do not Google it.
Yes, unless you are underage, of course.
Google is broke. I agree.
Well, then that's a sad day for you, isn't it?
Bing it. That's
Yeah,
that's
Bing,
even better.
exactly.
It's better.
Bing it. Bing it. Yahoo it. Whatever. Any other search engine alternatives you can think of.
Do you have any events or any events? Do you have any events? For example, do you have any Christmas holiday events coming up? Or I think Americans have Thanksgiving very soon, actually. Do you have any events coming up for your stream?
Nothing in particular planned for Thanksgiving. Although I am thinking of doing a Christmas subathon where I'll probably get together a bunch of friendos to like do collabs and stuff.
I don't know what a subathon is. I feel like I should know what it is as a streamer. I don't know what a subathon is. If you could define and explain.
A subathon is basically an event where you basically have like a list of like it's a big streaming event that you plan and you have like a list of rewards, like a list of milestones for like it's incentives to get people to gift subs to your channel. And like
Mm.
say when people gift a certain amount of subs, you do this one thing. And if you do more, you do this thing, and then you do this thing, and then you do this thing for more milestones that they reach.
Okay, I like that. So it's like, um, if I'm understanding correctly, first 5 subs, I'll dance, and then if I hit 10 subs, I'll draw a mustache, like that kind of thing.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Like
We have a
for
question. Oh, sorry.
for my first subathon, the first one was for the first 30 subs, I get to order a pizza, but chat got to make it for me.
Oh, that is dangerous.
You know they put anchovies on
I
that
was
mother.
gonna say, anchovies 100% was on that.
Yep. Anchovies, hot link sausages, pickles.
Pickles.
Yep. Pickles. No, surprisingly, there was no pineapples.
I actually talked about this on my stream yesterday, and I said I found a picture of a pizza, and they put durian on it.
Durian, huh?
Yeah, that really stinky fruit, durian. A durian pizza. To me, putting durian on pizza is worse than pineapple. Who
I've
would like?
I've I've never had durian, so I don't know.
Oh, that's it just brought it smells bad, but I'm telling you, it tastes good. We have a question here from Jose. Paro, what game do you enjoy the most?
Shit, you're asking that's like asking me what's my favorite child. Um
It's a tough one.
what
I wouldn't know my own answer as well.
let's see. I can't say any particular game, but I can say which particular genre of game. And that I do tend to like to lean towards RPGs and the like. You know, games like Fallout, like Final Fantasy to other stuff like Dark Souls and all that other stuff.
All right, yeah, that's a huge genre, and those games they
And
take more than like a week to complete usually. So that's good content.
yeah, and for even for all of its flaws, like games like Cyberpunk 2077. I know that game is buggy as fuck, but I loved every single moment of it, bugs and all.
All right, that might actually change my mind because I bought that game like day one. I did the whole pre-order and everything. I've never finished Cyberpunk, so
I have
it's worth it.
for me.
All right,
It's different. I would say it's definitely different for other people because I really enjoyed my time with it.
I'm gonna have to check it out then. Also, a question from Lily in chat. Para, top five anime thighs. Go.
Hmm. Top five thighs, huh? Okay. In no particular order. Akano from High School DxD, Rin Tosaka from Fate Stay Night, uh,
You guys are answering questions that puts Para on the spot, and I feel bad.
uh, Jibril from No Game No Life, Tamamono Mai from Fate Extra. I'm just naming off random thighs that I think of, not necessarily my top five. And
This
the
is a
last
question
one,
where you gotta compare and you gotta like go back and forth and be like, well, her thighs actually are too squishy. These
hmm,
are tough questions. I also have,
and
well,
yeah,
I feel like you like named all top five, but
yeah. All
thighs
right.
can't be too squishy. You're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm. One
Yeah,
second.
no
Give me a
problem.
sec.
Also, while Para is gone, I also like to thank you guys for being here once again and joining me for the second episode. Tomorrow, I am doing a third episode. I thought I was gonna only do it like once a week, but I guess I'm doing a special feature for tomorrow, and tomorrow's topic is about rebranding. Don't know if Para's back. No, Para's sleeping.
I'm back.
Oh, no, Para's back. I saw a question here in chat. Para, have you played Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yes, I have. I've played Red Dead Redemption 1, but I've not played Red Dead 2 yet. And Red Dead is definitely a game I very much enjoyed when I was in middle school.
I never played. I have the second one and I played it on stream for a little bit, but RPGs
It's
are not for me, man.
it's basically Wild West Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that is totally what it feels like. Another question. We have a question here from Stan. Para, what makes a good tea?
What makes a good tea? Hmm.
Well, first of all, actually, are you a tea drinker? Or
I do drink tea. Although I am the kind of person who will just make a gallon of that shit.
a gallon? Okay, I think we're assuming cold tea I think is what you're. Okay.
Yes, cold tea.
What makes it good? Like, do you have any like specific? I don't know anything about sweet tea actually. It's not very popular in Canada, but I know in the States it's a pretty huge deal.
Oh, you're Canadian?
I'm from the Beaver Town. I'm doing this podcast from my igloo. But I know
Nice.
when I went to the States, sweet tea was a huge thing. Like every like fast food place had it. I don't know anything about sweet tea, but what is the deal with sweet tea?
Well, I believe that's different from person to person. I just really enjoy the taste. It's as simple as that.
It's tasty as fuck.
It's really refreshing.
Sweet
I
tea is unsweetened, right? I think. No, wait, it's
like
called sweet tea. Wait,
there's sweet tea and then there's unsweetened tea.
because
And then there's also various other forms of tea. Like, let's see, naming some of them off of my mind. There's like chamomile, Earl Grey, lemon and honey, various different kinds.
I'm gonna have to try it again because I went to McDonald's in the States and I wanted iced tea. And they were like sweet tea and I was like, sure. I it wasn't sweetened for me. Unless my sweet meter is just so off the charts I couldn't taste the sugar. It was
Where did you get the tea from?
McDonald's.
then it was probably unsweetened. If you ask for iced tea, odds are they will give you unsweetened at the
Yeah, I
start.
think they literally gave me iced tea.
Yeah.
I was so confused. And then I saw it, and then I don't know. I'm gonna have to try sweet tea again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto, Rose. Anyways, guys, we are 2 minutes over podcast, and we're gonna end it with the great debate of sweet tea versus iced tea. Because I have learned something new, and I made a sudden realization that I should be asking for sweet tea and not iced tea. So thank you once again, Para, for being on the podcast. And like I said, when we were kind of shooting the shit before the podcast, thank you for being my guinea pig as my second guest on my second episode. So thank you for that.
Hell yeah. I would be more than happy to come back again if you'd be willing to have me.
I'm actually very interested in your process of going from 3D to 2D. So I think that's a nice topic to actually talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get there. We will get there. Maybe we'll have Para back in March is when Para will be having it. And
Yee.
yeah, we'll end the podcast. We are 3 minutes over. Chat is very excited and thanking you. Yes, thank you, Para, for being here. It was huge. And thank you for talking about the topic on consistency. I will also be doing a podcast tomorrow about rebranding. So I will see you guys tomorrow as well. And thank you, Paro, once again for being here. Where can people find you?
If you let's see where you guys can find me. You can follow me on Twitter. And do you want me to plug my stuff or?
No, yeah,
Oh,
100%.
okay, yeah. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to see my antics of me of not interviewing, talking with other people in the community, and if you just want to see my taste in art, more or less. And then there's also, well, on my Twitter if you will also want to get updates on when I go live, because I always tweet whenever I go live. And then, of course, there is the Twitch itself, where if you want to see whenever I stream, which is usually from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. PST, Sundays through Thursdays.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. I put the links to Para's Twitter and Twitch in the chat. Thank you, Para, once again. And thank you, chat, for being here and for being very active this time around, actually, and for asking questions. We're very excited, especially Para's viewers here. We're very excited to see Para on here. So I hope you learned Para's view as a streamer, and maybe you learn more about Para as well. So thank you once again, and thank you guys for being here. Have a good night, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.
Later!